So there's yet another example of why I tell you all the time, guys, don't get involved with the damaged gals. The gals that had, turmoil in their past or in their present. Don't be that white knight. Don't be the one trying to save them, because that's going to become your life. And there's other gals out there that, well, either they don't have a damaged background or not so much. But it seems like nowadays they all have some kind of damage going on in the background there, but it can blow up in your face. And of course, when your gal isn't having relations with you, that's a problem. You have the right to eventually walk. Title: My husband packed a bag and left. He says, as a child, this my bad. This is written by the woman, but you're going to see the guy how he handles it. She says, as a child, I was S-word things done to me by my half-brother for many years. My parents supported me and got me help as best they could. I struggle with severe anxiety and OCD. Well, that is a shame, and that's terrible that happened to her, and it absolutely should not. But it doesn't give her the excuse for some of the crap she does with her husband. When I was a teenager, a young adult, I was very promiscuous and attention-seeking. SEX was how I would feel seen and wanted. Of course, this all makes sense now. When my husband and I met, our SEX life was no different until we had our first child. Since then, I've struggled with intimacy. Our son is 4, and we've been married for about a year and a half. He's been really open with me for years about how our lack of SEX affects him and how it renders him feeling unloved and unappreciated. So she had no problem with the guys that didn't want her hooking up with him. She said quite promiscuous for years. She meets the guy who's supposed to be the love of her life to have a family with, and then he wants to regularly hook up, and she's not interested. That's what happens when the white knight hero gets the damaged girl, and she knows this, and she doesn't have to do anything to make him happy, because she figures he's never going anywhere. Or, there's nothing exciting about his validation because I already have him. That's not to say that I haven't enjoyed any of our intimate moments together. However, more often than not, I am turning his advances down and avoiding things that might lead to the SEX. I find certain things like touching very triggering, like I got furious. And while in the middle of an act, my mind would not relax, and I have intrusive thoughts about my things that happened in the past and other things that cause me to not enjoy it. Well, you sure had no problem doing all that with guys that didn't matter. It's interesting it's happening now with a guy that does matter. But yes, she's got problems and she needs help. But at the end of the day, and I still don't blame her for what happened in her past, it's terrible. Anybody that goes through things like that, it's a horrible shame. And it obviously continues on throughout adulthood. But her husband has the right to have needs. He's allowed to. That's okay. And if those needs are being met, he has a right, in my opinion, as do many, to start thinking about looking elsewhere. As in not like cheating, but ending the marriage. And that's a viable reason. When there's a long lull in between intimate moments, when are almost weeks or months, my husband's mood becomes increasingly off. He's impatient and short, and seems to avoid me. He says he does this because he tries to suppress his desires for me, and that's the only way he knows how. This past year, he has been big into fitness. The last night, he told me he did this to further get his mind off his urges for me. Not that it's all right, but she's lucky he's not cheating on her. Think about it. A lot of husbands are like, that's it. I don't know if he is able to understand how SEX can be for a victim. There are so many layers to it. I know how this sounds. Every woman dreams of her husband drooling all over her. It sounds ungrateful. But really, my husband is almost perfect, and I can't imagine life without him. I'm getting to my point, I promise. So right there, he's her husband, the love of her life. He's perfect. Can't imagine life without him. And yet, you're not affectionate with him. And yet you were affectionate with all those guys that could throw you away like a piece of garbage back in the day. This is what happens to white knights, guys. He's been asking me for years to get help. To unload this baggage I've been carrying around. But because I was in therapy for most of my childhood, I know how hard this is. I thought our problems would get better. That I would get better and that maybe he will desire me less. So you actually want your husband to desire you less. And then you can then complain that he doesn't desire you. I can see where this is going. I ignored the problem he was so tirelessly asking me to attend. Yesterday was the final straw for him. We were getting some drinks, and friends and me, who rarely drinks, was feeling it. I said, guys, look how grumpy he looks. He gets like that when I don't put out. Holy crap. She's now emasculating him in front of those people. Look how he gets when I don't put out. Showing that he's not getting it. You know how humiliating that would be for a guy? I didn't think he could hear me, but he did. Rightfully so. He was very embarrassed and hurt that I said that. I regret it so much. No, you don't. She's just treats this guy like shit. And this is the so-called love of her life. Today I'm at work and he's telling me he doesn't think he can do this anymore. He's tired of feeling sad and unfulfilled. He doesn't think he can give me any more chances. Of course, I'm devastated and leave work. I get home and his mom is here holding our daughter and he's gone. She said he hasn't seen him cry like that since he was a little boy. Well, smack. I wouldn't be crying over that. I'd be more like, this guy should be more pissed off at the way she's treating him, less crying, but oh well. Of course, now I realize the gravity of my actions, that I chose to be ignorant to the feelings of the man I love the most. Lady, you don't love him. He's a meal ticket. He's that nice guy you settle with. You're not in love with him. I didn't care for them like I should have. I put my own feelings before his. I'm so disgusted with myself. I'm motivated now more than ever to fix this, but I'm scared it's gone too far, and he's not willing to give me another chance. He is staying with his friend tonight, and I am alone in our house. The heaviness of his absence is showing me what I have done. His parents and mine say we will get through this, but he has never spoken to me like that, with such certainty. I'm beside myself with anxiety. Oh, boo-hoo, now we all have to feel bad for you again. Guess what? Again, I'm sorry about your past. Your childhood is terrible. But treating a good guy like this who's done everything for you, no, not cool. But the problem is, this guy made the mistake getting involved with the damaged girl and not laying down the law when he should have. This is 100% my doing, and if he wants a divorce, I will have to live knowing it because of my own selfishness and stubbornness. What can I do? I'm scared. What can you do is stop being a selfish a-hole. That's what you can do. If you have any chance of saving this marriage, you start doing things that he's requested, like going to therapy, trying to get help, working with him, and of course, fulfilling your husband's needs. But I don't think she can do that because at the end of the day, he's the guy she settled for. She doesn't respect him. And I'm sure this guy did not lay down the law and lead the relationship and not put up with her crap like a guy, the type of guy she's really attracted to. And like I said, I'm willing to bet you if she ends it with this guy, she's going to go right back to dating. Holy crap, look at the sun here. She's going to go right back to dating the same type of guys that she was hooking up with when she was younger to get attention and validation, what she said. I have to wonder why she's just dismissing this. Like, well, you know, if it may not work out, blah, 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 but I'll do anything I can. I just see this as a bad situation. Honestly, I think this guy should kick her to the curb permanently. They have a young kid together and start over, move on, and let her be somebody else's problem. Because she'll always find some sucker, some nice guy to take care of her and all that. And I guarantee if he ends it with her, she's going to be back on the Chad and Tyrone carousel soon enough. So guys, very important lesson here, and I'm sorry being blinded by the fucking light. Let me see if I can block this out a little bit. But don't be the white knight. Don't be the guy, the Captain Save you know what. It's sad these things happen to these young gals, but you know what? It's not your job to be the one to fix them. Otherwise, you can be inviting a whole lot of turmoil into your life. Just learn from this.